Hello talkers, thank you for joining us for another episode of Let's Talk. Today we're talking Parenting 2020 and I'm opening it up to the ladies.
Yes.
So, the first point that I want to bring up is obviously being a parent. I've got two kids of different ages. I've got 6 years between my children. And my daughter now is going through a stage where she is getting older. She's pre-teen. So with that comes its own situations and issues. I've had a massive issue with her. She actually wanted to start going to friends and sleeping out. So for me, that was a big... I'm a very strict parent when it comes to...
Oh, you've never done sleepovers?
No, she does, but only with certain individuals that I do know very, very well, very well. So Sammy's one, and then it's just family. That's really it. From my side, I'm just I don't seem nervous, but I am a very nervous parent when it comes to my child, because I believe I've got one opportunity and I can do the best that I can. But if I'm going to be ignorant to what's going on around me in the world, there's going to be a problem. So I believe that no one's really safe.
So what's your, just on the issue of sleepovers, what's your take on sleepovers? So it's just family and like
a close friend. For me, it's I don't know who's at the person's house. So for me, we were in such a, when I was growing up, it was your friend and you could sleep over at your neighbor's house and you can do that. But we didn't realize who was coming to that person's house without my mom knowing. And you know, I don't want to get too, I actually do want to get serious about it and I can speak about it, but coming from a place where I was in a position where I could have been abused and I was abused in a different way. Thank goodness it wasn't actual physical abuse, but mentally there was a massive, because there was an inappropriate gesture from an older person.
It doesn't matter the extent of the abuse, it's the sense of violation.
Was that older person a family member?
It was a friend of the family. Friend of the family. And
from sleepovers.
The thing is, for me, it just created so much fear in me, because I don't know, that person was in my home. I don't know who's coming to someone's house. For me, it was the fear of the person who's going to be around my child. For me, it's who is there, what is their background. Even walking, you think your complex is safe and you can let them walk around. You don't know who's coming into the complex to fix something or fetch something, or an uncle or auntie. You don't know, guys. And people, I seem to feel like parents are a little bit lackadaisy at the moment. They think everything, because we've got social media and everything's not taboo anymore, that everything is fine. Predators are everywhere. And dum, look at me funny and go, oh, she's a little bit... I will be completely crazy about this, because one inappropriate gesture or one inappropriate action or rape or being abused can change your child's life forever. So I would rather be safe than sorry.
I just like to interject, because you said you would do very close friends and family, and your concern is people who you don't know coming to the home. But 93% of abuses are by known people. So I don't even do an uncle sleepover. We do sleepovers at your houses. But even then, you guys know I will send a nanny with, or if it's a very contained, I know that they're coming to your house, it's your kids only. But I think what's great is that we have a very similar outlook on it. And I think our feelings around who's allowed around our children. But I mean, we have an example where you were completely innocent, and I think that sometimes we parent from where we've come from. And I've had dreadful experiences in family homes. I've had experiences by family members in my own home. I've had experiences at close family friends' homes. And I remember the time I dropped my kids off at your place, and I was like, Neil's the most rational, whatever person. So I feel completely safe dropping my kids off at your house, but you've come from a very innocent background. You've never had these experiences. So your mind doesn't even think like that. And then there were people that I didn't know, and we were leaving our kids and we were going out on a couple's date. So things like that for me are innocent. Things like that can happen. I I've come from a background where that's not okay. With her, it's normal because she hasn't had the exposure to what could possibly happen. And I think that's the purpose of why we're doing that, or doing this episode, is to create the exposure.
And awareness on what is happening at the moment.
I think also just to check different perspectives. If I think of how I grew up, and a lot of people I know, I grew up in the township of Mamelodi. Hello, mums. There's also families that live in a group setting. You are living in, say, a one-bedroom house. It's a bedroom. We all live there. Parents, children share the room. Cousins come. Sometimes you even live with your cousins. Or, like, there was a time I was not raised by my parents when I was young. Grandmother, but also by when my mom got sick, I was raised by my neighbors. And, I have experiences where my neighbors fought for me when there was a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I was about to be treated badly, but my neighbor stood up for me. So that's my exposure, like, trust your neighbor, trust the community, and bring the village. And if anybody's coming in their village, my mind goes to they're safe, or this is the, do you know what I mean?
But the reality is that they're not safe, because that's where the abuse takes place.
And I think the scariest statistic, or what I have learned from just sitting and having these conversations with everybody, is that it's always been there. We just have so much more statistics from it now than when we were growing up. We would never speak about it. It was something you did not speak about. There wasn't a platform. It wasn't received well. It was more of a shame scenario. And only now, because I don't know if people are standing up, but there's more statistics behind child rapes, child abuse.
People are okay to talk now.
And people are okay to talk about it, that we are now in a situation we realize that it's not only happening in this generation, it was happening when we were growing up, but no one spoke about it. So statistics and making it a talkable subject has only happened in the forefront now, because we've got no other choice but to identify the problem that is going on, and predators are all around us. The scariest thing for me is we are not just dealing, when we were growing up, we were dealing with a one-on-one predator. You've now got social media. You've got cyber predators. You've got, you're not even safe. It's become so toxic and evil that you're not even safe at school.
You're
Do you know
not
what I mean?
safe anyway. It's scary. I'd like to share some stats that I found which scared me more. So I'm a helicopter mom. I'm with my child all the time.
You guys,
My eyes are on him
Are you eyes
90% of the time. Yeah, unless I trust you with my life. I will not. Yeah, then I'll be like, okay,
maybe.
he's going to the park with
so
you.
special
Okay,
now.
I'm that mom. Like, he doesn't do sleepovers. He's done maybe like 3 sleepovers with family, like his grandmother and one cousin, and
It's like
like
even a person.
it's like I can tell you what the date. I can tell you everything, because I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I've had bad experiences myself as a child, so I'm terrified. I just the tint of my glasses, my eyes.
Your backdrop.
My eyes are tinted with just how violent life is for a child, But anyway, I did some research just to find out how bad it is now, and I agree with you that it's always been bad. And they say 50% of kids under the age of 18 will be abused. 50% of kids will be abused before the age of 18. 41% of rape in the country is against children under the age of 18.
Oh, that's revolting.
22,000 cases of sexual assault are against children. This is between last year and this year, March. And 10,000 common assault cases are against children. 7,000 of them are grievous bodily harm against kids. So what do you do as a parent on an everyday basis? And we've spoken about sleepovers, but what do you do that makes you feel your child is safer if at least you take these steps?
Because they have to go to school, and we're saying these things happen at school. Are we saying now our children are not going to go to school? Are we saying, what are we saying, guys? It's a lot.
Other than sending them to the mountains until they are the right age to come home, the thing for me is we were kept in a very big bubble when we were growing up. So sex wasn't something you spoke about. Abuse wasn't something you spoke about. It's education. The fact is that our
Educate your
kids have got
children.
to grow up far quicker, and there are age-appropriate conversations that you have when they are little. You have an age-appropriate conversation. For me, there is no secret. Anybody that asks you to keep a secret of anything is incorrect. There's simple gestures. My sister-in-law taught my kids, anything where you cross is a no-go area. So crossing on your boobies, crossing on your genitals, and crossing on your bum, you cross. That is
Because
a
I'm trying to see where else
that's
can
a
you
no-go
cross. Okay.
no-go area. You need to. I mean, my mom told me a funny story, and I only now found out on my birthday that we as parents want our children to kiss and love everybody.
Come kiss
When
uncle.
when they've got boundaries, instill those boundaries, because they have got discernment in them that we don't even understand. We have been taught by the world. They are still very pure. And they if something doesn't feel right, we shouldn't be forcing them to do it. So I've stopped that, because I come from an Afrikaans family. Lief vir Oma, lief vir Oupa, lief vir Tannie, lief vir... And my mom said that I used to go, they used to come and I used to go, don't touch me, don't touch me. They used to come like this and I used to go, don't touch me. And that was me saying, no. But we are in such a... We must love everybody.
Like,
no,
you're
you
being
don't.
rude. I said, go kiss them.
Correct.
And the child is in fear because maybe they've experienced something from this person. They're uncomfortable around this person. And you're not thinking there. You're thinking, oh, it's an elder. You respect your elders. Don't speak up against your elders. Don't, you're disrespecting your elders by saying
And then you as
anything
a parent feel bad, like you're raising a kid badly.
But what you need to learn is to allow our kids to have the voice that we didn't have growing up, and to know that there is no shame in speaking your mind. Even if you tell me I'm not comfortable around uncle or auntie Neo.
Yes.
The natural thing is to say, no, why? Be nice to auntie Neo, respect auntie Neo. But your child is trying to tell you something.
Yes.
And yes.
Now that's not spice, that's bomb.
Yes.
So firebomb. Yeah.
What I love
things
about
that I
what
teach-
Nolu and Jins is saying is that if we force our kids to kiss uncle, hug auntie, granny, whatever, we're teaching them not to trust their gut. And that's so important
And that they
for
can't
their...
have boundaries. They don't own their bodies. Who owns their bodies? The elders that they must kiss by force?
Yes.
No, it's I teach my son. So one of the things I'll add to your list of things that you said you do to try teach your kids, right, is I tell my child all the time, no matter what happens, no matter how scared you are about it, no matter how embarrassing it is, because sometimes kids keep quiet because it's shame, They feel embarrassed that Uncle Smang touched my private part, so now I'm too scared to tell. I say, come and tell me. Like, you come tell me immediately, because I will never judge you. It's fine. You tell me first. Don't even tell anyone else. It's an open space here. So he knows, even if it's the silliest thing, he'll come tell me. And I'll be like, oh, really? That's fine. And then we'll decipher it together. Did the person go too far? Did they not go too far? So yes, our kids have to grow up much faster and much quicker than we had to. And that's why I think the stats are being reported, and you have more numbers now, because kids are able to speak up. Parents are able to report cases. These things were happening to us when we were kids.
I mean, if you just look at us, we're 4 women, and 3 out of these 4 women have experienced some level of violation.
And the thing for me as well is, when you're looking at kids, we need to be in a situation where they are in a position where they feel utmost faith that we're going to believe them. You will believe your son, your child, because you know you've gone through it.
Yes.
How many mothers have never experienced it will go, oh, no, I know. And that is already one issue when it comes to them, that they will never speak to you again, because I opened up. I said something that was bothering me, and trust me, it bothers you. You have got to have so much courage to stand up and go, Mom, Dad, this happened to me, that when you don't believe them, you've gone back a million steps, and their future relationships will be affected by it. And the thing is, guys, when we discuss parenting 2020, I just want to say that we don't have a handbook. We don't have a textbook. There's nothing that can say you've got to do X, Y, and Z. The only thing that we can do is have conversations and be open enough to understand. Let the scales fall from your eyes. The world, as much as I love this place, I need to educate my kids that it isn't a good place. You need to trust your gut. You need to listen to and have... How hard is it to walk the line of being a friend and a parent?
Yes.
As well. I'm constantly... I'm constantly, but I've got to, you see, the thing is, you say that, Sammy, but there's got to be an element of a friend. When I come to you with a problem, there's got to be a seed of my mother is my friend, because if my mother's just my mother,
If it's
how am
just
I going to
authority,
tell
you're afraid
my
of
mom,
authority.
How am I going to
Yeah.
hurt my mom to say, this uncle did something to me?
Or tell her that
I actually enjoyed a little bit of it, like, because I heard
Yeah,
Oprah
that's
say,
why people don't report, because a lot of their guilt lies in the fact that they enjoyed it. Who was it that said it?
I heard it from Oprah.
Now, what's Oprah's bestie?
Gail.
Yeah, the guy bestie.
Oh, Benson.
Oh,
Perry.
Medea, Tyler Perry. It was the fact that because, especially for men, it's an issue because they experience erections.
Yeah.
And then they feel like their bodies have betrayed them.
But the thing is, it's about biology. It's unfortunately, it's biology. When these things are stimulated, when these things happen, your body biologically will react. That is where we've got to pull the shame out of it. We've got to be, unfortunately, prevention is better than cure in these situations. The age-appropriate conversations. I mean, I remember the conversations I had with Sammy was completely surprised that we had already started about sex in a very age-appropriate manner.
At what
to
age?
explain to her at very young.
I was like, no!
I was on the shower and I took the steam and I was explaining things to her, because I need to. The thing is, when we look at predators have got a sixth sense of identifying children that they can manipulate and abuse. Those are the uneducated. Those are the children that are, if we are constantly having conversations with our kids, we give them a certain sense of confidence, I feel, that they can maybe identify a situation and go, this isn't right. I'm outspoken. This is not okay. You want me to keep a secret. I'm not going to keep a secret. This is my body. You know, this is my body. There used to be that, this, don't touch me, don't touch me. This is my body. And I used to say, no one has the right to touch you. My child, from a very young age, used to wash himself. I wash the parts that I feel appropriate to. Then I would say, you continue with the rest. Nobody can do that. If your mother can't even do it, your uncle shouldn't be doing it.
But I want to ask for parenting, because I think it's important that we're like scaring everyone at home. I know.
Yes.
It's literally like the scariest thing.
But
I think it's
real.
important that we share our personal experiences when it comes to parenting. So break it down. How do you teach your child about sex? And at what age is it appropriate? Just like you're saying.
Know what is appropriate when.
I haven't, my child is 9 and I haven't.
no, so my daughter, she was at creche and she was 4 and 5 and she came with a song about don't touch my parts. And that was done at school. And I was like, is this school a bit inappropriate? And they already said it was a song, a very innocent, it's like, no one is allowed to touch my parts. No one is allowed to touch my parts. It's my private parts. And I'm like, private? I was like, you fool! What do you know about private parts?
I support it, yay!
She was 4 and she sang that song and
Your
she
worry-
knew.
Your worry was the age. You
No,
felt
I was like, private, what does private part even mean, girl? You know? And I know my biggest struggle is I want to keep the innocence as long as possible, make them live in this unicorns and rainbows and nothing is, you know. But I think because we don't know where they're going, we try and control it as much as we can, but they go to school and you don't even know what their friend has experienced and their friend who they are now friends with, they can do what. And we always thought maybe it's boys that do this and I sent her to a girls' school, but now we also hear that girls and boys can abuse each other. So I think that the most important thing is for us to empower our kids with knowledge from as soon as they can.
I want, I'm gonna write everything down.
I think she was 4.
And you think it's fine if
I was shocked, but that's it.
What age is for you? What age is for, let's have practical combos, because moms at home want to know too, you know?
I think it's really about, it's so hard to say. Different homes are so different. We all have utilized different tools. So, I mean, my thing was, what's age appropriate for my kids between when they first had understanding, when they could first understand me, and to now when they're 4 and 5, it's simply that nobody touches these specific areas. you wash these areas. So whether nanny's washing you, daddy's washing you, mommy's washing you, you wash that area yourself. And I didn't care when they were very little and if they didn't wash properly. It was more important that they knew. I used, you guys have sons and we spend a lot of time with you. And we've had baths with your children, but when it came to a certain age with close friends and also like my nephews, I use them as examples to say we don't bath with boys. But I have a point to add to that as well. We don't bath with boys and we don't let boys see us running around naked, etc., etc. And that was because how do they know who a perpetrator is? Because if I'm saying it's okay to bath with this boy, then when that boy says, "Oh, come in the bath with me," and he abuses you, you know, you can't at that age assess who a perpetrator is. So those are some of the things that I've done. I've also said that we don't do secrets. We throw daddy a surprise party, or presents are a surprise, but we never keep a secret. But where I'm thrown off is when we say that girls are abusers too, and girls abuse other girls. Now, how do I say to my child, okay, but you're allowed to bathe with Auntie Jenny's child and
But they can't
Neil's
touch.
child?
Just still, no one touches you.
But what about it? I mean, I know an example of a girl who threw herself onto another girl. I know two girls.
Yeah. But what if the other girl was like, yeah, because I still think that no one is allowed to touch your private parts. No one is allowed to touch your places, your areas that are yours and yours only. I think even when a girl is coming onto you, you know that, you're not, what are you touching? Then you're aware that, mommy, little whoever tried to touch my private parts. You know what I mean? So I think that the rules that we teach shouldn't be against boys. They should be against anybody touching you inappropriately.
Yeah, but what about this? Because groomers, so talking from personal experience, they don't immediately go for your special places. It's rubbing you on your thigh.
Yeah.
So you feel it, and you're already just someone who's you are a 12-year-old girl and a 27-year-old guy is touching your thigh. You know nothing. You play stuck in the mud still. So, but you feel you're sick inside yourself. You become paralyzed. How do we prevent those things? And that's where my issues are around leaving your kids in environments where you don't know who's in that environment, leaving your kids at sleepovers, those sorts of things, because you can't control that. Now my child knows, okay, these are my special places, but okay, this person's touching my thigh, it makes me uncomfortable.
I think
whatever.
Also, for me, it continues to go back to we need to empower our children. Whatever does not feel right, trust your gut. And and even have those conversations that someone might touch your hand. And you don't like it. It's as innocent as a hand, and it might look different, it might feel different. Come talk to mommy or daddy about it. It doesn't feel right. Because guys, my thing is they're going to school. How many cases of school teachers we've heard are abusers? So we can do as much as we can in assessing character and trusting people, but I think we can't trust the external environment, so to say. I think we need to trust our education and our feeding. So as soon as they can talk, we talk. We start those.
Because I had the thing of, as I said, with my child, we haven't had a talk about sex or anything along those lines. However, in the radio in the morning, we listen to the news.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Then you know, right? We listen to the news, and unfortunately the country we live in is a horror story every single day, every morning. So we're listening to the news and they talk about the one boy who was gang raped by it's a trigger alert, who was gang raped by 3 kids from his school. And it's today's that, the next day is the other girl so it's a daily thing. And then he asked one day I think this started last year, he's like, what is rape?
Don't you think he's too young?
He's hearing it on it's not me. It's not, I didn't say.
He has to.
Because how will he know it's a violation and he has been violated?
Well, but what about age-appropriate information?
Because here's the thing:
What
the
about
kids that are
age-appropriate
getting
action?
because the kids that are getting raped and violated are in his age. So, so first, but to say, just finish the story. That's what I did first. I was like,
Rainbows and unicorns.
I don't know. Keep driving. I don't know. What is rape? I don't know. And then after like, it was last year it started. And then after a couple of months of it's happening again, there's another story. And he's like, he asked me again, Mom, what is rape? And I know my child will ask you something when he has some sort of understanding and he wants to kind of, it wants it to click what it is, you know? So then I had to say, but here's what I said, age appropriate stuff. What do you say to your kids when you're having these conversations? I said, it's when somebody touches your private parts. Even if they touch it, it's rape. I say, you go to jail. Even if they touch it, like somebody just goes and touches it, it's rape and they go to jail and it's illegal. That's what I taught him. At his age, he shouldn't allow anyone to touch it. So now he's going to be thinking, I can't touch somebody else's and no one can touch mine because mom says it's rape and you go to jail.
Yes.
And I'm happy with him knowing that. I'm happy with him being extra cautious and not wanting anyone. And as we go, then I will explain how, you know, the violation is and all that stuff. But for his age, it's if somebody touches your private part, so every time he hears it on the news, these kids raped another child. This person raped, he thinks, oh my gosh, they touched their private parts.
I had an opportunity to talk to my children about rape. Do you remember that Dross story? I mean, that was very, very scary. And I mean, that made every mom get a knot in their stomach. And I had to talk to my children about it. And I did say it's when someone is acting in an appropriate way towards you, touching you, and they can even hurt your parts. You know, when they touch you and it can start to hurt you and they can do dreadful things to your parts and they can bleed because they wanted to know where did the blood come from. So they can bleed and it's a bad thing. So I had to actually I need to pick my words. Sure, it was a tough one, but they asked, it was in the news.
And you have to have these age-appropriate
My brain is going, what's a far place? How cheap can I get an island for?
Same island with no incidents of rape.
Okay, so but aside now from actual rape, actual physical abuse, the other issue with sleepovers is, and also long stays at friends and houses like these play dates, etc., is that we don't all have the same rules, the same value systems, the same boundaries for our kids. So while we might have rules in our house that you don't go into a private area behind a closed door with a cell phone, so no screens behind closed doors, not everybody has that. And how do you question something like that? And so then your kid goes into a bedroom with her close buddies, and I've heard stories of kids who mistakenly found porn because of how awful our search engines are. And now it becomes an exciting thing to be like, so this child isn't naughty. She hasn't been.
Sorry.
This child isn't naughty. It's not that she went searching for the porn. The porn came up. Now she's like, girls, look what I found. And then your child is.
And it's not just about in somebody else's house. And I guess what you're saying is because your rule is no behind closed doors. So you can always hear, you can always see what they're watching. But
And I also have like lots of security.
The child lock.
Yes, on
apps.
everything. Yeah.
Because how do you deal with the internet and our kids?
Also, what I saw, and I'm grateful I stumbled into it, and I don't know, I might have not. These kids' games, my children downloaded a very innocent game.
Wow, guys.
Right? Furniture. Hey, the next thing they run ads. Then it's like, do you want to what?
Yeah,
cheaters. There's a game and they want cheaters.
There's another game that's like, you know those games where it's a community game where maybe you're like, you're building a community. You must bath, you must sleep, you must go drive down the road.
You must procreate.
Did I freak out? They did! I swear! I'm like, no, because I could hear kissing sounds and he said he's loving. He's like, he brought it to me like immediately because he's also like, they're kissing. He's like, Mom, they're kissing. I'm like, what is happening in this game? They're kissing. And
you
it's,
must check the
the age says it's for his age group, but I don't want to see. They kiss and they go to the bedroom and they actually like cover the sheets and you pick a girlfriend.
But
Kids game.
But if you think about it, if you're looking at the perpetrator is very smart. So if you look at those small subliminal grooming, it's grooming. And the thing for me is there's so many. I had an incident with my child at school. We had an incident with a parent because if you're exposed to things that you shouldn't see, your brain cannot process what you've seen. So you'll become either hypersexual or you will try and act out what you've seen. We had a situation where a kid was constantly trying to kiss my child. Oh. And you guys will know the mother that I am. I just said, because I then confronted, because I also feel sometimes schools don't really want to get involved. And I was like, I don't care what this woman looks like. I don't care how big she is. If you guys are going to do something, I'm literally going to take her out. And I told my daughter, when this person comes to you again, you open your hand and you give him a 5-finger discount in the face. You high-five him in the face. Because, let me tell you something, I will not tolerate someone invading my child's personal space. And let me tell you something else. Parents out there, if you are into pornography or whatever floats your boat, make sure your children aren't in any way exposed to it because they do not know how to process. Yeah. And another scary statistic is, gone are the days where it's willing adults that are doing that. So just a little FYI to you that most of those women are, well, for another episode, human trafficked or drugged severely. So those kids don't know what they're seeing. They're feeling the emotion, they're feeling there's something wrong, but they don't know how to process it. So this kid was hypersexual because of what he had seen. And he told them that I saw stuff on TV. So we need to act. And I get very emotional about it because, again, you don't understand the long-term effect, not only for that child, and I feel sad because I'm angry, because that child is suffering long-term psychological issues. Then you're looking at my child who's exposed to someone that's constantly in her personal space. So we need to teach.
And you can't go. The teacher's like, kids will be kids. No.
I am a lioness, guys. I'm a lioness. I will tear. Yeah. I will tear. I'm going for you. And for me, and I know I'm getting angry about it, but the thing is, we're trying to debate and we're trying to justify where we sleep. It's not safe. Bottom line, whichever way we want to flip this coin and whichever way we want to see, we need to be more assertive when it comes to where our kids go, and we need to be more, unfortunately, strict. But again, the balance. There needs to be an element of the world so that they are exposed to it and can process it. When it's completely not, you're going to look on your screen. I've seen kids that have got TikTok, which is a massive grooming platform for pedophiles. They have secret TikToks and they start grooming and they start, so we've got to really be in a position where we are really assertive with our children.
Very vigilant.
Sorry, just quickly before I forget. So because as I'm saying, I'd like us to share what we do personally as mothers to protect our kids in all these spaces. So for the cyber issues, aside from watching every single game, don't allow your kid to be able to download games on their own without you. So if they've spotted a game, bring it, let me see, okay, this looks cool, then check it out, right? And then lock your child's, because you can lock even YouTube to be age appropriate. Make sure everything they use is age appropriate.
Are the ads age appropriate?
Because they used to download games on my phone, and mine is just an adult phone, and that cheaters thing, guys.
So an adult
it's offending me. Yeah. I don't want to see it. Yeah. That ad. It's offensive to me. Yeah. But then, so what we did, on all our phones, we've given them their own profiles, and then we switch off the time. There's time limits. Airtime, screen time, and the adverts. Then it's like, have you tried this new tool? But it's like an educational tool. Yeah. So the I've seen now because I checked then the adverts.
Now they've got their own profile, so even the search engine is able to identify that it's a kid. Don't let them use your profile as an adult. Everything will be different.
But also, I mean, you can give feedback online to say, I don't want to see this ad, and it asks you, I'm like, it's offensive. Don't ever say it's offensive. It still sends it to me. I still see that.
Guys, on your adult app. Yes. That's why I'm saying, I think for me, a tool to share would be, don't let your child use your phone on your adult app.
I'm saying it's even offensive to me. I don't want to see it.
Okay. That's the episode for another day.
Why do they need to be on our phones?
You know, sometimes it happens with me. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, just use my phone, like to play a game, or like if he's sitting here and he doesn't have his tablet, I'm like, oh yeah, just you can YouTube on my phone. But he has his own profile now, so he goes onto his own profile, and then there it's safe for kids.
So the advice is to create a
Kid
profile.
Have their profile.
Yes.
And also, sorry, just while we're on the games, like they also have now these games where they can invite people and play with their friends.
Frightening.
Even adults are there.
So I have to approve friends that you invite to play Minecraft. Like, who's this?
Yeah.
Is this your friend? Then I call the mom. Is this your child's details?
Sure.
Guys, I know it's so helicoptery, but what else can we do?
I think what we all agree on is that we need to be way more assertive when it comes to our children. That being too strict, I think, is something of the past. It's showing love, and I think the more we explain, the more we educate them on why we're doing this, and it's coming from a place of love, I think they'll be more receptive to it. Another thing that we haven't touched on, and we need to touch on in the next episode, is the curriculum that's going to be coming out from the schools.
2000?
Yeah, and we need to really be more vocal when it comes to what our children will be allowed to see as part of a syllabus. But I think what we're just going to do in closing is to say there is no right or wrong way. However, there is steps that we can take to make sure that we minimize the risk and that we put our kids, because they are children at the end of the day. So from us, I think in closing, we just have to say, guys, be in control, watch your kids' screen time, know who's going to be at a certain place. Sleepovers are not appropriate right now. Rather, prevention is better than cure. So we just like to say thank you so much for joining us for this episode, and have a lovely day.
And thank you to our lovely sponsors.
Thank you to our lovely sponsors and talkers. Please continue. We've received such great responses and comments. Please keep on talking, interacting with us. And to our sponsors, VAG Motorsport, VMS Paint, and T-Pace, thank you so much for supporting this series. Have a great day, guys. Bye.